What's going on, guys? Welcome back. NFL commentary for you. Do me a favor, take a moment, hit that like button, subscribe button, criticism in the comment section, Twitter. Shutdown Safety is my username. Hope everybody is having a happy and healthy, a safe Easter today. Want to talk about Josh Norman, who's came out today and said that he wants a long-term deal at $16 million a year. And just to give you some reference points there, you've got Darrelle Revis right now at $14 million a year. If you tag Norman, he's going to make about 13.9. Now, I usually agree with this. You can check my track record. He's not going to report to OTAs until he either signs his contract or the tag, and that's fine with me because, listen, like all players that get here, he's earned this position to demand this type of money. And if he gets hurt, this is all out the window. So I'm all for him not showing up until they come to an agreement with him. However, it really puts the Panthers in a difficult spot. Now, let me preface all this by saying I am a Josh Norman fan. I like his game, I like his attitude, and I think he's a good player, but no one's going to deny his talent. He's only, though, had 2 strong seasons on the field. And in the NFL, you don't pay a player for what he is right now or what he was last year. You pay him for what he's going to be. And Josh Norman is essentially a zone corner. If you don't believe me, you can look at the fact he only has 7 interceptions. He's also going to be turning 30 very shortly, which means even in the history of the best players in the NFL, you will lose a step on the players coming into the game. He also plays on one of the best defenses around. And you can't help but look, and I'm not saying that this is the exact situation, but you can't help but look at the history of the game. You look at Maxwell, you look at Asamoah, you look at a whole bunch of other players and wonder, was the pressure from the Panthers' incredible defensive line, was the support that Josh Norman had from an all-pro linebacking core, did that figure more into the talent we saw on the field than just what he has and possesses on his own? Now, also take into consideration, with this massive contract, it's only going to limit what the Panthers can do in the future. It's also going to create a further demand from the players that are currently on their roster. So now you're looking at struggles to either replace or maybe retain players like Thomas Davis or Charles Johnson after 2017. You may not have a possibility of upgrading outside of the draft. Players like Kurt Coleman or Trey Boston, who are currently going to be looking to start in the secondary. Then you go back and you look at some of the things that Josh Norman has had happen to him. And I think we can go back and look at the Odell Beckham situation because, let's be honest, $16 million needs to get you more than a good corner. It needs to get you a team leader. Now, Norman got beat early in that game. Both players lost their cool. Both players should have been ejected. Both players rightfully fined. But you heard in that game, go back and watch that game, you heard of other players having to go up to Norman to defuse the situation, and that should not happen to a team leader. He should have been able to keep his emotions in check and control himself throughout that game, because if you were going to lose a game and you're getting paid $16 million a year, to me that's not acceptable. You also go back and look at Julio Jones, who had a lot of success over Josh Norman, and you wonder if he just can't play up against top-level talent as well as he should. I'm not saying that he's a bad corner. I'm not saying he's not deserving of his contract, but I am saying that he is getting older. The Panthers are in a prime position to make another run back to the Super Bowl. And if you take the money out of this equation by giving him a massive contract, then in turn, you hurt your team a lot more than you help it. And while you may be paid and you may be happy, you may not be on the team as long as you think you will be, and that team may not be the same team you want to be on 2 to 3 years from now. So I'd love to know your guys' impressions on this. I appreciate you checking out the video, and as always, I'll be back very shortly with more content.